Did you know that in today's world, over 70% of leaders, yes, even Christian leaders, admit feeling pressure to compromise their beliefs just to fit in, to get ahead, or not to lose influence? That is the exact struggle that thousands of leaders are wrestling with right now. So let me ask you, what does it mean to lead courageously in a world that is constantly changing and sometimes downright hostile to your faith? Hey, I'm Esther, and this isn't just another talk about leadership. On this channel, we dig into the craziest, most raw, and most powerful lessons from Scripture and show how they can actually change the way that you lead your life. At home, online, at work, and even in the church. So stick around to the end because I have something just for you. A special place where you can connect with other believers who are learning to lead courageously without compromising their faith, even when the world pushes back. And yes, if you've ever felt scared to stand up, messed up in a leadership role, or ever wondered if you're even capable of leading at all, then this one's for you. Smash that like button and let's not waste another minute. Courageous leaders isn't about titles, degrees, or how many followers that you have. It's not about giving the perfect speech or trending on social media. No, true leadership is faith, love, and service. It's standing firm when the world questions your belief, even when it's uncomfortable and expensive. And yes, I said expensive. Sometimes it costs money, sometimes friends, sometimes your reputation, and let's be honest, sometimes losing your pride hurts even more than losing money. Here's the truth. Leadership doesn't only happen on big stages or in viral conferences. Leadership starts right where you are in this very moment. At home, when you choose to lead your family with grace and not yelling at your kids, or hiding in the pantry for 5 minutes of peace. That's leadership. That's courage. And yes, sometimes courage smells like baby spit up or looks like doing laundry. Leadership can be shown at work when you make decisions that honor God rather than doing it to please your boss. That means standing up for integrity, honesty, and fairness, even when it's unpopular. Leadership begins in your church, when you serve faithfully even when no one else notices. Even the quiet acts of ushering or mentoring or volunteering is all leadership in action. Leadership also begins online, when your videos, your posts, and your comments point to truth and love instead of chasing likes, clout, and arguments. And here's the kicker. You don't need a corner office, a platform, or 1 million followers to lead courageously. You just need to show up consistently, faithfully, and boldly. Joshua 1 verse 9 says, "Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened and do not be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go." Notice what God didn't say. Be courageous if everyone likes you. Be courageous if it's convenient or easy. Be courageous only if it feels safe. He simply says, be courageous because I am with you. And sometimes God's call to be courageous feels sometimes downright goofy. Like, do I really have to speak up in that meeting? Or am I seriously posting this extremely controversial truth online? Yeah, because that's the kind of courage that changes the world. Now, I love stories because they stick with you. So let's take a look at one. Daniel was a young man in Babylon, far from his home, in a culture that wanted him to compromise his faith. He could have bowed to the idols, eaten the king's food, or even just stayed silent, but he didn't. Even when facing a den of lions, Daniel stayed faithful. Why? because his leadership and his courage was rooted in God, not in fear and not in popularity. Daniel's courage wasn't just for show. It encouraged others. King Darius saw Daniel's faithfulness and recognized God's power. Your courage, even when unseen, inspires the world. Daniel 6:10 says, when Daniel knew that the document had been signed, he went to his house where he had windows in his upper chamber open toward Jerusalem. He got down on his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his God as he had done previously. Notice that courage looks ordinary sometimes. Kneeling to pray, doing the right thing quietly, that's leadership. Now let's look at a more modern example, Corrie ten Boom. During World War II, Corrie courageously fought to protect Jews in Nazi-occupied Holland. She could have compromised to stay safe, but she didn't. She chose faith and service over fear. And yes, I'm sure she had moments of doubt, like, God, is this even worth it? But she kept going, and her courage saved countless lives. Romans 12:21 says, do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. True leadership is not flashy. It's messy, it's uncomfortable, and often it's invisible, but yet it still changes lives. And let's be real, leading courageously can feel exhausting. You might think, I can't do this anymore. I'm too tired to keep standing up for my beliefs. And what if I fail? And my response? Good. That's called being human, and that's why we all need God. And here's a little secret. Leadership is not about not being afraid. It's about moving forward in courage and obedience, even when you are afraid. Isaiah 41:10 says, fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Notice how God promises to uphold you even when you feel weak, alone, or ridiculously unqualified. So how do we actually live this out? Well, there are 3 practical ways. 1, lead where you are. Influence your current sphere of people. The kids' soccer field, your office, your favorite coffee shop. You never know who's watching. Number 2, anchor every decision you make in Scripture. When faced with tough calls, ask yourself, what does God say about this? Not, what's the easiest and most popular answer? Number 3, serve, do not perform. Leadership built to impress others collapses rapidly fast. Leadership built to serve and to uplift others lasts forever. And bonus tip, don't do it alone. Surround yourself with people who will encourage you in faith, who will call you out in love, and who will remind you of God's promises. Colossians 3:23-24 says, whatever you do, work heartily, as for the Lord and not for men, knowing that from the Lord you will receive the inheritance as your reward. You are serving the Lord Christ. Now, even if nobody else notices your courage today, God sees it. Even if people question your choices, your labor in faith is never wasted. 1 Corinthians 15:58 says, therefore, my beloved brothers, be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that in the Lord your labor is not in vain. And just to lighten things up, because let's be real, leading courageously can feel very heavy sometimes. Think of it like this. Leading boldly is sometimes like riding a unicycle while juggling flaming swords in the rain while a squirrel sits on your shoulder, giving you that, that side eye. And I know, that might be a little extreme, but the truth is, sometimes it's messy. People will question you. Mistakes will happen. And sometimes courage looks silly or scary, but it matters. Proverbs 3:5-6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make straight your paths. Even when it feels chaotic, God sees your courage. He will guide you. Now, remember how I mentioned something special at the start of this video? I want to personally invite you to our online Christian community called Impact Training Center, a place we created for believers like you who want to lead courageously without compromise. This isn't just some boring forum. It's a place where we dive deep into scripture and apply it to real life situations, encourage each other when leadership feels scary, exhausting, and yes, like I said, messy. Celebrate wins, share struggles so we can pray with you, and hold each other accountable, and to get practical tips for leading in truth, faith, and love, even when the world pushes back. It's like having a virtual war room for courageous leaders, but with less yelling. I'd love for you to join us. You belong there. The link is in the description, and trust me, it's a game changer for anyone who's serious about leading boldly and courageously. If this video spoke to you, smash that like button, share what part spoke to you the most, and subscribe if you haven't already so we can keep exploring scriptures, unlearning the lies, and growing as courageous leaders together. And don't wait, join our community today. I can't wait to personally welcome you and to see you thrive as a leader in this world. Courageous leadership isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up, standing firm, and leading with faith, love, and service, even when it's uncomfortable, messy, and downright scary. God is with you wherever you go. Every decision you make, every act of courage, even the small unseen ones, can change lives. Thanks for watching, and I can't wait to meet you inside of our community. The truth will set you free. God bless, and I will see you there.